Okay, the living room is a mess, but I need to get to these books. So, one sec. Okay, here we have all of my mostly unread books. I'm just giving you a quick tour because I'm about to pull a whole bunch of them. Okay, hi. I'm so excited. So begins my year of actually doing TBR SPIN. Hi. Last year, 2 years ago, I found out about this year-long reading challenge, TBR SPIN, where there's a wheel of prompts, a wide variety, all kinds of prompts, and you pick a stack of 12 books, one for every month of the year, you know? And then throughout the year, once a month, the hosts spin the wheel, pick a prompt, and then use that prompt to pick a book from that stack. So it's like, this is the stack I'm dealing with this year, and every month it goes down by one. So then by like the last like half of the year, like you have a lot less choice, and maybe like fitting the prompts is a little more challenging. Some of the prompts invite you to swap books or whatever. So that's TBR SPIN. I found out about it 2 years ago, and it was like the middle of the year, and that's right before I moved. So I was like, I'm not dealing with this right now. I will join for next year though. Go ahead, Carbon. Go get your bacon bits. You go. Then last year, I was prepared to do it. I had my stack of 12. I was in the Discord. I was excited. And I DNF'd the January book. And then the February book that I picked, I just like never really wanted to read. So I just like, I gave up. But not this year. I made some errors in my stack, and I'm gonna remedy those errors this year, but I do still think it's a really fun challenge. This year it's being hosted solely by Sarah from Freshly Read Books, and the live show is gonna happen next Sunday. Sorry, today's Sunday. Next Sunday is when the live show for the first spin is happening, and I really want to be able to watch and participate in the live show. I'm not sure based on the time that it's happening if I'll be able to do that, but I wanted to have my stack set before then anyway. I made my stack like probably January 1st or something last year, because I had a preliminary stack, but then I received a bunch of books for Christmas, or I had a gift card to buy books for Christmas. So I ended up like getting a lot of new books, and I was excited about them, and I put them in the stack. That was a mistake. Do not put your new books in the stack, because then any time during the year when I was like, maybe would have actually picked those up and read them, I didn't, because they were in the stack. And I was like, oh, that's part of a different project that I'm doing. I'll get to them eventually. Well, I didn't. This year, I don't have very many like recent purchases, but I'm not putting them in the stack. And I'm gonna try to keep a good balance between fiction and nonfiction, long, short, old, new, and have some rereads in there. Okay, I want this to be like a lot going on, because I don't know what I'm gonna want to read. So let's go through the stack. I have a stack of 20 books, and I need, I guess, to remove 8 of them. Maybe that's how I should do it. Maybe I should be like, what are the things that I don't want to be reading? Well, the first thing I'd like to solidify for myself is these are the 3 reread proposals I have. Just Kids by Patti Smith. I read this, I think, for the first time in 2019. And it's, to me, in my head, like, this is one of my favorite books of all time. But I have only read it the one time, and I'd really like to reread it, because I'm just in such a different place than where I was when I first read this, and I think I'll still love it, but I'll have a different take on it, maybe. I don't know. So this one I'm definitely putting in the stack, because otherwise, like, I just don't think I'll reread it. I've recently discovered that rereading is can be a very wonderful experience, but when there's new books, you know, it's just so hard to go back. So I'm putting this in the stacks for sure. Can you see this? And then the other options for rereads that I'm giving myself are Emma and Pride and Prejudice. These are 2 Jane Austens. These are 2 Penguin cloth bound editions that I haven't read, actually, either of these. I've read my old versions, which I bought all of my Jane Austens. I have the Penguin Classic edition, but they're all used. So they're all like a little bit beat up, even though I've only read them all once. So I'd like to read these, and I'm just not sure which one I want to read. Like, Emma is, maybe it should be Emma. I think it should be Emma. This is, I I think, but these are my two favorite Jane Austen books. I think Emma's my favorite. It is my favorite movie of all time, the 2021. But I think this is going to go as my second reread option. So now we've only got 19 books. I mean, no. We need to pick 10, and we have 17. Can someone, don't fact check me on that. We need to pick 10 more books. I'd like to do 5 and 5 fiction, nonfiction. Let's start there and see if I feel like anything is really not working out. So for nonfiction, oh, you know what? One of these I'm just going to straight up get rid of, and that's A Honeybee Heart Has 5 Openings. I got this for 50 cents, I think, or $1. That's just snow falling off the roof, buddy. At a library, like, book sale, just because I loved the cover and it's about bees. But you know what? I'm just so not interested. It's a memoir, something I tend to not like, even though Just Kids is over there. There's nothing in me that has a pull to read this, and there's so many other things I want to read. So that one's out. Let me show you the nonfiction stack I have here. We've got, like, this is a really short book, so that's interesting to me, from $2 Radio. It's memoirs, remixes, and mythology. So I think this is like poetry and stories / memoir essays, maybe. It's like all kinds of stuff. That's why it's in nonfiction. I'm not really sure. But I think it would be fun to have just a really short option in the stack. So I'm actually tentatively adding that. Then I have 5 more nonfictions. I've got this, which is a food book that was in the stack last year. Feeding the World Without Devouring the Planet. This is about sustainable agriculture. I have The Wisdom of Your Body, which is about embodied living and like healing your trauma, kind of, via fully inhabiting your body. Kind of interesting. I have Breath. I'm gonna put this in the stack because I really want to read it. I read Deep by this author and I loved it, so I think I will love this also. I'm really eager to read it. And I actually listened to part of it as an audiobook, and I was like, no, I need to hold this. I need to be engaging more with the book. So I'm gonna add this to the stack. Then I've got an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States and the large print edition of South to America. This was an accident. Obviously, I didn't mean to get the large print edition. And this is, oh my gosh. So I don't know which of these I'd like to add. So maybe I'll hold off. I know I said I was going to do 5 and 5. Now it's looking like that's not going to happen. I'm going to put these nonfiction down and sort through the fiction and see how many of these I need to pull. Oh God. Here's the fiction. Haha. Okay, I've got a variety in here too. So my strategy, on the one hand, books I've been maybe like, it's just like some of these were in the stack last year and so I didn't get to read them, but I still am really excited about them. So I'm thinking I'm going to tentatively remove those initially. That's Longbourn, which is a fun pairing to read if you are also reading Pride and Prejudice. It's basically like POV, the downstairs staff. It's like if you're of Pride and Prejudice, of that family, which I think I want to read it. But this is a book that I had just bought. I bought this last December. And these two also. These are 3 books that I bought last December and I didn't read because they were stuck in here. This is the one that I was supposed to read in February and I just didn't want to because it was very similar vibes to other books I was reading at the time. So I just didn't want to pick it up because it felt like more of the same. But I do still think I will really like this. The New Wilderness by Diane Cook. I want to read these. God. And Greenwood by Michael Christie. This is a bit of eco-fiction that I got at a local nature-themed bookstore, which is really fun. This I bought ages ago at a used bookstore. I have no idea what it's about. I'm gonna add it because there's nothing in it that's like gonna prompt me to pick it up. Same with this Philip Pullman book. I caught this as like a blind date with a book mystery, but then I open it up and it's a children's book. So that's definitely not what I was expecting, but you know what? I'm gonna add it because it just also was like that it was my name was really something, you know? Okay, what are we at? 6? We're halfway there. So I need to add 6 more books. Okay. And I've got 8 fiction and 4 nonfiction. And I need to pick 6 of these. I'm gonna put South to America on there. I know it looks horrendous to read because of its size, but I don't think it's actually, you know, it's large print. Okay, so that's another nonfiction on the list. Now we have 7. 5 more. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the 3 fiction books in front of me. I can show you the stack now, it's easier. I'm gonna pick 3 of these that I'm not putting in that stack. That's how that's gonna work. Because then that'll be 12. It just seems like so many books, 12 books, but it kind of is. Okay, maybe I'm gonna take Matrix out because it held us up last year. And maybe I'm gonna take Greenwood out because it's a book that it's one of the newer books in this pile and I'm still quite excited about it. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I need to take 1 more out. Okay. Should it be, well, I think like this was such an impulse buy for me. That time I got drunk and saved a demon that I just feel like the likelihood of me picking this up, it just feels low. Not like I bought it and it's not a book I want to read. I think it'll be fun to have in here because it's very different vibes. I'm also going to put this one in the stack. I read a bit of this, but it was just a little bit too big brain for where I was at the time. I think I tried to read this during Wonderthon. So yeah, let's definitely do that. Now what do we have? 2, 4, 6, 9. So I need 3 more. This is really precarious. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. 3 of these. Okay. I don't want to put this back in. No, I'm going to. 1. Learned by Heart by Emma Donoghue. 2. And no. The 7 Moons of Molly Almeida, because this is one of the older ones that I have left. Okay? This is my stack. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 rereads. 1, 2, 3 nonfiction, 1 something else, and the rest fiction. So I'll be back here reacting to the first spin and picking my first read and reading it. I'm so excited. Now I have to put my bookshelf back together. All right, here we are. I did not get to watch the first spin live, but I am about to watch it and pick my first book. So let's go.
Hi everyone. Hopefully this is working. I'm just gonna spin it. And we're gonna find out. Oh no. Okay. I think the one that's right before it is the book that's been on your TBR the longest, and I was like, oh, I don't want to have to like think about that. But the book you most want to read from your stack, that is such a nice, easy one to start with.
Okay, what an easy and like chill first prompt. I remember last year, I think the first spin was actually like they had to respin it because it was like, it's our first spin, like we can't be shuffling things around already. Anyway, the book you most want to read is our first prompt. let's see. Okay, I feel like right now the book that I most want to read from this stack is Breath by James Nestor, but I'm not gonna pull it because I'm not gonna start it today. I have a couple of other projects I need to finish. So I think I'll just tell you which book I picked when I actually start the book. But that was a really kind first spin, because the actual first spin last year, Canadian book, gave me so much trouble because I just didn't have any Canadian books in my stack. So I was like trying to like tangentially connect Canada to one of my books. It was such a weird, and you know, sorry to Canada for not having any Canadian authors in my stack, whatever. Good evening. It's January 23rd and I finally picked my book for the first month of TBR Spin. The prompt was extremely open-ended, and in my defense, in January I was scrambling for the first like half of the month to get the rest of my friends' faves read, and then also get like any book club books read. Like I had 3 book club books that I wanted to read this month, and I've already DNF'd 2 of them, but I'm gonna finish the 3rd one. So now I've finally cleared some space on my roster to start a book for this challenge, and I've picked, shocker, The Ruby and the Smoke. The reason I said shocker like that is because it's a children's book, and it is not the actual shortest book in my stack, but because it's a children's book, like that's gonna make it the fastest book in my stack. And yeah, it's like I want to read Emma, sure, but I just like, I feel like I'm in the middle of so many other things that like it's gonna take me so long. I want to cut back on book clubs this year. I just like don't know what's gonna go. And so I'm gonna read, The Ruby in the Smoke, a Sally Lockhart mystery. I have no idea what it's about, and I don't want to know. It's a mystery. I think it's like Victorian-esque, just based on the cover. I'm gonna dive in tonight and see how much fun I can have. And I really am gonna try to have an attitude adjustment about the rest of those books, because I bought those books because I wanted to read them. And I do want to read them, but maybe it's like if I reach a point where it's like I really like, there's some on there that I genuinely just do not want to read, like I'm just gonna get rid of them. So even if I don't read all 12 of those, maybe if there's some that I'm genuinely not interested anymore because I bought them a while ago, they have to go. So anyway, starting with this. Yay! Good morning! It's January 26th and I'm DNFing that book. So for the 2nd year in a row, I'm DNFing my first TBR Spin book. And I think it's fine. I don't know. I actually, I'm proud of myself for hanging on to the book when I opened my blind date with the book and saw that it was like a children's mystery. Because my initial instinct was like, I should just immediately put this in a little free library somewhere and forget all about it. But I was like, no, like I'm gonna give it a try. And I did. And I don't know what year it was published in, but I don't know. I just like, whatever. I was not having it. I only read about 60 pages, but I was like, I just don't want to read the rest of this. I just am not, you know, I'm not into it. So I think part of this journey, this TBR Spin journey, is gonna involve maybe some DNFs, because some of the books in my stack are ones that I've had for a while. And so if it's just no longer something I want to read, then I'd rather it move on, you know, than me just like hanging on to it forever. But like maybe I'll want to read it someday, but not this one. I got rid of this one. I already donated it. We're done. So I'm here to watch the yesterday, the February TBR Spin. I struggled to find out like how to know when and where the live stream was going to be, because otherwise I would have put it on my calendar and I would have tried harder to be there for it, but I wouldn't have been able to for this month anyway. But I just like, I was shocked by its appearance. Anyway, it's time to pick our next book, so let's do that.
Here we go. Okay, are we ready? I don't know why I get nervous every time. Okay, cross your fingers for something easy. Of course we. Oh, we don't. Okay, I was gonna say of course we do.
Okay, it's a rainy day read. Okay, let me approach my shelves. I'm not sure I know how to interpret this. Like, I guess it could be like a book I'm saving for a rainy day, or a book that just like feels like the kind you want to curl up with on a rainy day. Okay. I've decided to interpret that prompt like, yeah, a book that you can sit with for a long time and that feels comfortable, appropriate for reading on a day when, you know, you're stuck inside and you don't have anything else to do. And also, yeah, like a comfort read. So it's gonna be Emma. I got all of Jane Austen's paperbacks, you know, like a used version of the Penguin ones, for my first year on BookTube when I read all of her books in 1 year. And since I realized that I love and cherish her work, I decided to start collecting the cloth bound ones because I really like them. And I just like, I love the Emma cover with the chair on it so much. So I'm gonna read Emma. I actually tried to pick this up last year at some point because I think one of my friends, I don't even remember who, was it Martine, was reading it, and I was like, yes, I would love to join you and buddy read and reread it because it's like a favorite of mine, or so I think, you know. So this is one of the rereads from my stack, and it's a little bit bigger but I'm starting early because it's still January, and I think it's also like Jane Austen is a good February read, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that this will be comforting and I'm really excited. I love this book. So that's what we're gonna do. Read Emma. I'm just so excited already. I feel so happy. I actually just feel apprehensive because I don't think I'm gonna be able to like spend literal days on end reading this, which is what I want to do, you know? Because I have now started school again, so I have classes, I have work, I have other reading projects, and I'm starting to develop something with social life, so, you know, we'll see, but I'm excited about my pick. Okay, thanks. I'll let you know when I'm starting it. It might be today, let's be honest, but I have to film a bunch of other things before Connor gets home. I have to talk about Emma, and it is actually raining right now, so perfect time to talk about my rainy day book, which is of course Emma by Jane Austen. I am, you can't see, maybe a third of the way done with this book. I'm really enjoying rereading it. I'm having as much fun as I had the first time. The characters are so well like fleshed out, and they're just all, it's such a small community of people involved in this story, and each one of them has such a personality that reading them and their interactions, like, you just never know what is gonna come out of their mouths. It's just so fun. And I'm really glad that I'm getting to read it again. It's such a nice little gift to myself. If you don't know the story of Emma, I tried to talk about this book a little bit last night, and I went on for a really long time in this exact moment of what is this book about, so I'm gonna try and keep it together. Emma is about a young woman who does not want for consequence or connections or money or anything. She is very well off, she lives with her father, she's unmarried, and she's uninterested in marriage because she has kind of everything she wants. Like, none of the reasons that women had for urgently needing to marry apply to her. So she's just hanging out, she's having a good time, and she is matchmaking, she is manipulating the people around her, she is nosing into everybody's business, and she is, like, she does not know, like, how snotty she is, or maybe, like, it's just the narration of her is, like, at times obnoxious and very self-centered and selfish, and she does not care. There's only one character in this book who will ever point that out to her, and that is Knightley. Mr. Knightley is like a neighbor / close family friend. He's actually her brother-in-law. Her sister and his brother are married. So she's known him forever, and so they're very close, and he's able to like be frank with her, and she really actually likes that about him. She thinks it's fun, because nobody else would ever talk to her like that, because she is like, I don't know, the highest social class in the county. I don't know. So it's really fun, and there are some, gosh, it's just so funny. And I have to strongly recommend at this moment that you watch the 2020 Emma movie with Anya Taylor-Joy, which was written by Eleanor Catton, who wrote Burnham Wood, which is one of my favorite books. And also she wrote that movie, which is one of my favorite movies, possibly my favorite movie. And it's been really fun rereading this after having watched that movie like a dozen times, because there are many lines that are pulled directly from the book, which I think is just really fun. So I'm having a great time reading Emma, and that's it. It's TBR Spin Day. So it's not quite the end of February, but the live show is happening today, which I'm excited about because I will be able to watch it, unlike the last two. And I'm going to stay for the reading sprints afterwards, and I haven't decided if I'm going to be reading Emma still, or if I'll start my new book. I don't know. But I'm just slightly more than halfway done with Emma, so oops. I did not stick to my 20 pages a day, because that 20 pages of Emma takes me roughly 40 minutes to read. So it was a big ask to do that every single day. I definitely didn't. And that's okay, but I'll keep reading it and I'll keep updating you, but I'll show you the spin when it happens. It's happening.
I actually don't remember the prompts that are on this. It's gotten far enough from when I put them. A book that was a cover by.
Ooh, okay.
Do I have a book that was a cover?
All right, I have moved. I have looked at my, no spoilers, I've looked at my stack and picked some books. So if my hair will please just stay where I put it for 1 second. I have two options for a cover by, and I don't really know which one I want to read. So I have The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida, which I read the first chapter-ish of back when I read the first chapter of all my books, and I liked it, but I haven't picked it up since then, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. But it's historical fiction. It was a Booker. Did it win the Booker that year, or did it just get nominated? I don't remember. Anyway, I think this is a book that I probably will really like, and I do love the cover. Actually it's, so the cover looks like it's like a collage of like cut out pieces of painted paper. It has a lot of texture on it, which is similar to the other cover that I'm about to show you, which is another book that it wasn't like 100% a cover by, but I did keep going back to it in the bookstore because I was just like really liked the cover, and that is Learned by Heart by Emma Donoghue. And this also has like a painted cover. It's like an oil painting with all of these like little glittery gold round bits. I just really like it. So I think either of them could count as my cover by. The question is, which am I more in the mood for? And I don't know. I feel like I want one that's gonna be lighter, but also, okay, I'm gonna read The Seven Moons. I think it's the one that I will like I'm just thinking about what I'm gonna be left with also, like as the year progresses, like, and it's September, October, November, there's going to be very few books left, and so I don't want to be purposefully leaving all of the ones that are more intimidating for the end, and this book is intimidating to me. I'm gonna read this one. even though I'm reading a lot of other intimidating books right now. But okay, that's our pick. I think I'm gonna try to finish Emma first though, before I start that one. Afternoon pick me up, including decaf latte, the heavily milked coffee cake that I just made, and of course, Emma. I just realized something. I realized that The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida is set in Sri Lanka in the 1980s and in the afterlife a little bit. I read the first chapter-ish of this for something, so I do remember like a little bit about the beginning, and he was a photojournalist, and he's talking a lot about like the horrific violence that he's seeing, and especially in the very opening, he's like in a bureaucratic like afterlife visa situation, and it was like it was also like evidence of violence. And now I understand that that book is set in Sri Lanka in the 1980s, which is also the setting of my favorite book from 2024, which was Brotherless Night, which is not a magical realism book. It is a historical fiction novel about exactly probably what this character was taking photographs of for journalistic reasons. And that just has me like more excited to read it, because I feel like now I have a little bit more background knowledge going in than I did the last time I picked it up. So, good evening. I kind of feel like I was wearing this the last time I talked to you about this book. I don't remember. I'm filming too many videos at once. I just finished Emma, like literally just. I love it so much. Did not disappoint, did not let down. What a wonderful rainy day book, first of all. Great choice, me, on that account, because like, I mean, first of all, the last several days have been quite icky. We did have a lot of rain today. It sort of was like snowing, but like not in a pretty way, you know, not March kind of way. Anyway, I also found this to be appropriately rainy day ready, in that it was so comforting for me. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily by default a comforting book, but for me it's so comforting because I know all these characters so well. I think about this book a lot, apparently, and I have seen the movie many times. So the situations, the relationships in this are ones that I just like loved getting to watch unfold again, and you know, develop and change. And yeah, I kind of forgot about how abrupt the ending is, and I sort of like that, like that's not really like the point, like, you know, getting the girl and like the wedding is not the highlight of this book. It's like, it's the journey, it's the friends we made along the way, you know. So terrific work, Ms. Austen, yet again. And I wish I could say I'm immediately going to be picking up The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida. I might pick it up in the next like couple days, but I'm working on Take a Hike episode 2 right now also, so we'll see which one of these gets posted first. Really excited to dive into this one as well. So the books are so good right now. God, everything feels so good book-wise. I'm so interested. I love books. I love reading. What a phenomenal way to live. It's a good thing I finished my rainy day book, you know what I mean? Except, burr. Okay, a very non-rainy day for me to start my cover by book. Oh hey, I hope that the wind is not going to affect the quality of this too much, but I just wanted to say I'm not having the best time with this book, which is a huge bummer because it was extremely highly anticipated. And anytime like I mention it, or anytime I mention it on this channel, I get comments that are like, oh my gosh, like can't wait to read that. I feel like I just saw somebody else like be about to read it, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I love that book. And I thought I was also gonna say that. I thought I was gonna love that book. I am not decided yet if I'm gonna continue or not. I feel like I should go at least to like page 100 and see if that changes anything. But the writing is extremely, I don't know, in a style. It's extremely stylish, but not in a way that I'm enjoying. And I kind of feel like there's mystery in this book. Our main character is trying to find out why he died, why he was killed. And the intrigue of that is just getting so lost in the sauce. I'm finding it hard to keep up with who's talking about what. It's moving around a lot, chronologically, and also like within the world. I don't know. I'm not able to grip it. And I thought that if I really like sat down to just read for like 30 minutes while I was having lunch, I could like get into it, but I really couldn't still. So I think I'm only about 50 pages in. So this is not an official notice of a DNF, but I'm not thrilled. Sorry if there's a lot of wind or anything, but I need to take a moment to talk about this book. It's giving me so much trouble. Part of it, The 7 Moons of Molly Almeida. It's very, what's going on? I'm having trouble with this book because I'm reading another book right now, Northwoods, that is so good. It's like nothing else is good. But I do want to finish this in a timely manner so that I can finish this vlog. And I'm really struggling with the decision to continue reading this. I am now on page 93. And sometimes when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that is good. That is interesting. But then other times I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep reading a book like this. It's not how I expected it would be. And again, sometimes I read, like, it's in very short chapters. The full book is divided up into 7 moons, which is like 7 days. But then within that, there's like, you know, these small chapters. You can see there's like a heading like this, that are just like 2 or 3 pages. So it's sort of like then you move on to the next thing and the next thing. And there's a little bit of time jumping going on, but I'm really, like, I do still love the cover of this, but maybe the cover buy was not the right move. But this is a book that I've heard lots of great things about. Shortlisted for the Booker Prize, etc., etc. So I don't know, I'm gonna keep working, but I guess wanted to express that sometimes the book is just not the right moment. Like, I feel like in a different moment I would really enjoy reading this, but right now, possibly because of what else I'm reading, but also just because of like the other things going on in my life, I'm just like really struggling. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Ruby props her phone up on whatever is around to film. It's a telescope in this case, if you were wondering. I am DNFing The 7 Moons of Molly Almeida. I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to. Here's what's going on. Here's the tea. I think it's very much a wrong book, wrong time for this book. I think if I read it at a different time, if I read it right when I got it, I probably would have really liked it. Let me also just say that I read about 100 pages. I got to page like 97 or something. So I tried, but I was not wanting to pick it up. Part of that is because I'm also reading a book that I love. And so this book that I'm just like not feeling compelled by, it's suffering in comparison, which is not its fault, but that's just how I am as a reader, is that I can't just read one book at a time. So that's how it is. But I thought that having read Brotherless Night, which gave me a lot more information and context about the Sri Lankan, like, politics and strife, war, if you will, civil war, civil unrest. I thought that would help me reading this because I felt like I understood a little bit about the conflict itself. And so this book, which has a very loose structure, I thought I was doing myself a favor having something to like anchor that to, but I don't think that's the case. I think I just should have read it when I bought it. It's not a very linear narrative, and there's a little bit of like it's metaphysical a little bit because our main character is dead and he's dealing with other members of the in-between, the other worlds, the other realms. And there is a mystery that he's trying to find out who killed him and why, and also like what's going to happen to his work. As a photojournalist, he has some like very incriminating photos, I guess, hidden away as like protection, which obviously didn't work. But it was very hard for me to even get that much of the plot like sorted out because of the way that it's written. And that sort of fever dream quality of writing isn't something that would turn me off of a book. Like, that's not a reason that I would put down any book. It's not that I'm not into that kind of writing, because I am usually, but just in this case, I was just not getting along. Normally, like, that style of writing, that like flowy kind of, you're not really sure like what's going on or who's who, that's not something that turns me off in general of a book, but it wasn't working in this case. Also, I feel like everybody had a lot of nicknames, so it just was a lot of work to stay on course with what's going on. And I'm sure that if I just pushed through and I got to the end, it would be a rewarding book. I would be glad I had read it. I would really like it, maybe. But like, the amount of energy that I have to dedicate to reading for fun right now versus the amount of energy that like I would have to expend into this book that I'm like not loving, like, it just, the numbers are not adding up. I don't have that kind of, I can't make that kind of investment right now. So that's the real reason, is that I can't invest like that into this book right now. So I'm done reading it. Okay. I just feel bad because I thought I was going to like it. I think I would like it at a different time, and I'm unhauling it. I also feel bad because I'm deciding that this decision has to be one where I also get rid of the book. I'm not going to hang on to it. I'm going to give it away. I'm going to, give somebody else the opportunity of liking it. And just because I don't want it to be like haunting me or weighing on me. So we've reached the end of the vlog, unfortunately. Happy TBR SPIN. I put together a book stack of 12 books, and I have DNF'd and unhauled 2 of them and read one of them, which was a reread, which was Emma, and I love that still. So huge win for me to have finally gotten to that reread. Sorry, I'm adjusting, because it's something I've wanted to reread for a while, and I just like kept putting it off because that's how I am with rereads. But I'm glad we did that, and I'm sorry, but also glad about the DNFs. So stay tuned for TBR SPIN vlog episode 2 in 3 more months. Okay, thanks. Bye.